Hello and welcome to our Yin class, all about creating space. So without further ado, we're going to get straight into it. So make sure you get yourselves nice and cozy, grab some cushions or bolsters, blanket, cushions from the back of the sofa, anything you want to get cozy, maybe a candle, and we'll get straight into it. So the first position that we're going to get into is a wide-legged child's pose. So taking the knees as far as the width of the mat and just melting the chest down onto the earth beneath you. The toes are together, big toes, and just melting down here. And you might want to go straight onto the mat, or like my mum's just about to do, you might want to grab a cushion to melt the chest onto. Whatever feels good for you there. Just getting nice and cozy and comfortable. Closing down the eyes here. Thank you so much for joining us, spending your time with us today, creating space together, whether it's the morning or the evening. We're really happy to have you here with us. Just closing down the eyes. Beginning to breathe deeply now, softening and letting go of the body. And with each exhale, relaxing deeper into the earth beneath you. The affirmation for this posture is, I give up freely what is no longer serving me. I give up freely what is no longer serving me. If you had one ear down on the earth or on your cushion, you can just flip that over to the other side now. We're about halfway through. Drawing your focus inwards, bringing your focus to the exhale, elongating, slowing down the breath and the mind from any activity that you might have had going on today. Just easing, relaxing into the earth beneath you, and using this practice to create your own little space. Then when you're ready, pressing the hands into the earth beneath you and gently pressing yourself up, rolling up through the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, and moving out any cushions that you have in your way, And just spending a moment here, just taking any movements that you need, just releasing out of that, perhaps rolling the shoulders. You might want to take a cat-cow or just some gentle movement sitting up, just easing out any kinks or any tension that might have caused. Just being really mindful throughout this session, listening to what your body needs. And instead of thinking about what you look like, what the pose looks like, we really try and bring the focus to what it feels like, what your body is going through, the sensations, as the practice is just for you. Okay, the next pose we're going to take is Sphinx Pose. So coming to lie down on our tummies on the mat, bringing our elbows onto the mat, palms flat in the mat. We're taking a slight back bend here, taking the gaze forward just in front of you, and we really are trying not to injure the lower back here, so we're trying not to compact it at the bottom. So if that feels uncomfortable at all, the further out your elbows go, the less of a bend, the less of a back bend you get. So just play around here, as you can see, taking it backwards and forwards, taking whatever back bend you need. And again, you can bring your cushion in here, you can bring a cushion underneath the chest, underneath the tummy to support you here, and that might be a nice resting pose. So just finding what feels good for you today, and just easing into that back bend. Make sure you keep breathing throughout, taking the gaze down to the earth, or perhaps closing down the eyes here. Nice. And your affirmation for this pose, and you might like to just listen to this and let it go. You might like to repeat it in your mind's eye, or just notice what it brings up for you. I am creating space for what inspires me. I am creating space for what inspires me. Then slowly we're going to come out of this position. So gently removing any cushions if you have them in the way, and just releasing really gently down onto the mat in front of you. Lowering the chest down, forehead to mat. And we're going to pause here for a little mini forward facing Shavasana. So just lying on the front. Notice how the body feels after that back bend. Notice how the back's feeling. Perhaps you can feel the blood being moved around the body. Just being aware and noticing how that feels. Nice. Any more little movements that you might need here? Shifting the hips slightly. Nice. And then the next position we're going to take is our broken wing. So for this, we're going to stretch our right arm out along the floor. So you might want to just glance up at the screen here just to see what we're doing. But taking your right hand out along the mat or the floor next to the mat. And then pressing your left hand into the floor on the other side, we're going to shift the hips over, rolling up onto the side. And you can pause here. So if this is as far as you want to go, that's fine. Keeping the knees stacked, the legs bent, the right arm outstretched, and the left arm propped up on the floor. Or the next stage, if you want to, is bring that left arm up and over and bringing the palm to the lower back. And that's getting a real nice opening in the chest, creating lots of space. And you might want to pause here. Or if you want to go even further into an opening, you might want to bring this top leg up and over, bringing the foot into the floor and straightening this bottom leg. So just playing around with this position, noticing what it is you want, what feels good for you. And you can just pause with it here with the knees bent, stacked on top of each other. Yeah, nice. So just getting into your version of broken wing. Settling into the position. Thinking about the 3 points of yin. Finding your edge. Getting to that point where you feel a sensation, but it's not painful. If it's painful, just pulling back a little bit, finding that edge. And once you've found your edge, finding stillness. Complete stillness. And then we hold it for time. So once you've found your stillness here, I give you the affirmation. I release all negative energy from my mind, body, and soul, and replace it with positive energy. I release all negative energy from my body, mind, and soul, and replace it with positive energy. Slowly, when you're ready, just releasing that hand, if it is behind your back, bringing it back round onto the floor. Releasing the legs, and then just rolling back onto your front. Releasing everything back to the centre, really gently and mindfully. Pausing again in your frontward facing Shavasana. Notice how the body feels, especially taking that nice opening stretch on one side. Just noticing how the sides might feel different here. Settling the breath. Giving your body time to adjust, giving the spine time to adjust, fall back into place. And we'll take it on the other side. So this time taking your left hand out across the floor beside you, shifting those hips up and round, perhaps pressing your right hand into the mat to shift you up, or you can lie the arm down, and then remembering the different stages. So you can pause here, or you can take that top arm up and round the back, bringing the palm towards the lower back or the back of the hand. And then you might want to bring this top leg up and round the back, planting that foot into the mat and straightening that bottom leg. Or you can just stay with the legs bent. So just finding your edge. We don't want pain, don't want to injure ourselves, but we want to feel a sensation throughout the body. Once you're there, settled into your broken wing, just finding stillness. And I give you the affirmation: I release the drama of the past and consciously create a more peaceful future. I release the drama of the past and consciously create a more peaceful future. And then really gently, mindfully bringing that top arm back over to the mat. Pressing yourself back round onto your tummy, releasing out of that opening position. And once again, back to our mini Shavasana on our front. Noticing how that feels. Taking each side, noticing how each side is different from the other. Noticing if your chest feels open, your back. And we're going to come back up onto our elbows, coming back to our Sphinx pose, just briefly here, just to check in. This mini back bend here, remember you can take your elbows further forward if you want, or bringing them closer to the chest, creates more of a bend, just making sure that we're not crunching in the lower back. And just pause for a moment here in this chest opener, this heart opener. Notice if it feels any different after doing our broken wing. And then we're going to press up to all fours. So gently release the back, the chest to the mat, and then press yourselves up to your tabletop. Really gently, taking first of all any mindful movements that you need after that back bend. And then when you're ready, we're going to take a little cat-cow. So connecting with your breath, inhale, open the chest. And exhale, take it the other way, curve through the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, lifting that back up to the sky. Good. Inhale, opening the chest, pressing the heart through, shining the heart forward, and exhale, take it the other way. Good. We'll take one more together. Inhale, opening the heart, the chest. Exhale, curve the spine. As if there's a string pulling the top of the back up towards the sky. Nice, really working through that spine. Good, coming back to center, releasing that out. And we're going to come to lie on our backs now. So just bringing the legs through, coming to your bums, and then carefully lying down onto the mat. Good. We're going to take some reclined twists. So, bumping the hips over to the left, bringing the knees to the right, let the knees fall down to the right, stacking the knees on top of each other, taking the arms stretched out, or perhaps cactus arms, play around with what you want. And making sure that this left shoulder is pressed into the mat, so we make sure we're not releasing that up. So if that means bringing the knees up off of the floor slightly, then you can do that with a cushion or blocks if you've got them. So just playing around to make sure that both shoulders stay on the mat. So we get this really nice opening here. Space across the chest, through the vertebrae, really nice. And then taking the head and the gaze slightly towards the left, closing down the eyes. And finding stillness here. And your affirmation here is, I release old habits that no longer serve me, creating new positive ones. I release old habits that no longer serve me, creating new positive ones. Then beginning to come out of this mindfully, bringing the legs back up, planting the feet into the mat. And we're going to just pause in the middle, bringing the feet as wide as the mat, letting the knees fall in, palms down by your side. Just pausing here for a moment, letting the spine adjust. Notice how that opening, that recline twist feels on one side. Settling the breath. Nice, and then we'll take the other side. So shifting the hips over to the other side of the mat, letting the knees fall down. Remember, we're trying to keep this shoulder down onto, both shoulders down onto the earth. So if that means keeping the knees lifted slightly with a cushion or a block, then go ahead and do that. You can place it in between the legs or under both the legs. Playing around here. So both the shoulders are on the mat and the gaze comes to the opposite direction. Close down the eyes. Feeling that nice opening. And here, your affirmation: I am releasing any guilt or shame and replacing it with love and joy. I am releasing any guilt or shame and replacing it with love and joy. Gently bringing yourself back out of this position, coming back to centre, releasing any cushions out the way, and then just gently windscreen wiping the legs, perhaps side to side, easing out through the back. Noticing how that feels, moving through any final movements that your body is calling out for right now before we take our final Shavasana. So just any movements you need. Settling down the body. We'll come into our Shavasana, our corpse pose. So taking the legs out stretched, feet falling wide like the mat, arms down by your side, palms facing up. And draw the shoulders together underneath the back, as if you're puffing out that chest a little bit. And then just releasing now fully into the mat, into the floor, into the earth beneath you. And we just use this time to marinate in the goodness of what we've given ourselves today. What we've done for our bodies, our mind, our breath. And I'll give you this final affirmation here. I release stress and tension from my life and create space for my mind to calm and my body to relax. I release stress and tension from my life and create space for my mind to calm and my body to relax. Enjoy. We're going to leave you now in your Shavasana, in the space that you've created for yourselves today. So just be grateful for yourselves for showing up onto the mat for this practice, giving yourself what you needed. We are grateful to you for joining us, so thank you so much. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe and that notification bell when you come out of your Shavasana. Sending you all the love and light as you continue with your day. Namaste.